pleased that he's agreed to speak today. Thank you.
There we go. Well, it's great to be here. In October 2023, I was out for a long run, which is about 30K. It was a nice Sunday morning. And I got some tingling in the ends of my fingers. And I know from running long distances and races, that's a check engine light. You're running out of oxygen. And that shouldn't happen when you're just out for an easy run. Right. So I went home and I said, well, I'm going to call my family doctor. I haven't seen him for 30 years. And so I checked in. I called him on Monday morning and I said, I think there's something wrong. I got in to see him Monday afternoon, 2:00. Tests on Tuesday, some more tests on Wednesday. And got in to see some people. And by Friday, they said, you know what? We got some bad news. You've got a rare type of cancer. And you're probably not going to make it past October 2024. You'll be dead. And I thought, well, that's bad news. I wonder what we can do to fix that. And they said, absolutely nothing. You're just going to have to go home and, spend some time with your friends. It's done. I thought, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I am so fit. I just qualified for Berlin. I could go to Paris. I could go anywhere in the world. I've spent my entire life trying to just get fit. Don't smoke, don't drink, eat everything right, sleep everything, do everything right. Boom, I hit the wall. And it's like, yep, maybe the next guy will give me some different advice. No, you'll be dead by October, maybe November if you do chemo. And I thought, you got to be kidding me. There's got to be somebody in the string here that can give me some advice. Number 3 arrives. No, they're all right. You're dead. I went, wow, that's a great week. And I thought, as I'm sort of spinning in the back of my mind, I've done some really crazy, tough things. Marathon's not for everyone. And I've done some of these crazy things. And as I sat there listening to them, I thought, this is the worst coaching moment I've ever had. Like, if you were my coach for the next marathon, you're fired. This isn't going to work because you're not actually telling me how this is going to be possible. You're just telling me how it's all going to go wrong. And I don't do that. So no, I'm not buying this. I said, well, we can maybe get chemo going by January. I thought, this is November and this thing's picking up speed and my weight's just dropping. So by the time I hit December, December 22nd, I was at 140 pounds and I thought, this is how people die. It won't be the cancer that kills me. I'll just lose weight until everything stops working. And that's how this is going to end. Give me 2 more months, I'll be in a wheelchair. After that, it'll be May. I won't even make it to October. That's how fast my weight was just dropping. I said, okay, that's got to stop. So anyway, we started making some decisions and it's like, okay, one of them is, okay, if I've got cancer, I phoned a few people. So Rebecca, her husband we phoned Melinda first. It was on Friday. I got home and the house was on fire, right? What are we supposed to do now? Phone Melinda. So we phoned Melinda at 3. By 4:30, we had a call from Adam Auer, a mentor. Can I help you? Yes, our hair's on fire. Okay, well, what can we do? He goes, we need a family meeting. I said, well, not everybody's here. I'll call you on Sunday, 10:30. Great. 2 hours with Adam on Sunday. Okay, this isn't normal. This is none of the advice that I got from my regular oncologist, right? This is all outside of the stream. Do you want to talk to Rebecca, my wife? Okay, does she know? She's an oncologist. She does this. I've got it. It's like, okay, sure, great. I think I talked to Rebecca on Tuesday. How much time do we have? Because the other lady only spent 20 minutes with me. And it's like, okay, out. I spent an hour and a half with Rebecca. It's like, boy, am I ever blessed. Somebody's giving me a sign. Try. So I went to the first chemo session in December and I said, okay, this is going to be tough. One of my previous coaches said, Dana, you don't have cancer. You got an injury. You get in there and you do chemo like you do a workout. So I took the spikes that my dad gave me in 1971 and I said, this workout's going to suck. but Sunday's going to be better, and Monday you're going to be stronger for it. This is how you're going to dig out. So I brought my track bag, I brought my spikes, my water bottle, and my towel. And I did. I brought it with me every chemo session. And after a while, people started to joke, yeah, here comes the track guy. But it's like, yeah, this is how I made it through. I brought my dad to every chemo session. It got better. And I learned how to sort of work with chemo. I had a great team at the chemo nurse there would ask you, how are you doing? And if you're not feeling well, there's drugs that we can help you with to make you feel better. So it's like, okay, I'm not doing this all by myself. And this is when I started to really appreciate the sense of community, the people that I ran with and biked with, the people that I knew from up north or that I lived and worked with in the city. And suddenly there's some people, when you say cancer, they just get in the car and turn around. They can't look at it. It's too scary. They just can't do it. We had people arrive in our driveway to visit. The wife would come in. The husband would sit in the car outside in the driveway. He couldn't cross the door. And I said, I'm not going to make him feel bad, but boy, that was a tough moment. And then you got other people that said, okay, we're in this for the long haul. What do you need? And here they come, right? And it's like, okay, that group's going to go with you right to the end, no matter what. It's like, okay, hang on to those people for dear life. They're here to help out. One of them in February said, Dana, we're going to go for a ride on our bikes. And I said, I can't even sit on the trainer in the basement for 5 minutes. My arms aren't strong enough to hold me up. I can't do it. I have my toque on, my winter coat. I'm in the house trying to pedal for 5 minutes and I can't do it. And he said, no, we're going to do the Ride to Conquer Cancer. It's in June and we're signing it up. We're signing up today. So we pulled out our phones and we both said, okay, we're registering. It's a goal. As soon as you've got a goal and you've got a group that are pushing, it's like, okay, we're all going to do this together. Let's go. So I ended up assembling a team of people. We raised over $40,000. We rode 200 kilometers. So for all those people that said, you know what, there's nothing you can do to fix this. You just want to go home, turn the lights down, and then just sort of disappear. No, we refused, and we pulled together a group of people. Now, if you've never done or seen this Ride to Conquer Cancer, here's a little plug. There's 5,000 people in that parking lot that are all going to leave at the same time. Everybody that's a cancer survivor's got a yellow flag off the back of their bike. There's hundreds of them. And I asked the bike guy, how is this possible? He said, you know, when we did this a long time ago, there was only maybe 60 or 70 flags in the parking lot. Now there's hundreds. It means that the cancer treatments that we're providing people now are working better than we have had in the past. There's more survivors showing up every year. And it's constant. It's like this is turning into a chronic illness. It's not a death sentence. Wow, that's a powerful message. And you see them riding out. So, 200 kilometers in 2 days. Awesome. We got that done. And I said, okay, what's next? I finished chemo on May 30th. I went into a small race on June the 1st. I said, okay, I might feel sick. I might feel trashed, but I'm not dead. We're going to go to the start line. I don't care if it takes all day to finish 5K. It's good enough for me to just say I got there and I was able to try. And I came fourth in my age group and I went, okay, the light's on, the engine's not quite there, but let's see what else we can do. So I signed up for a marathon. I said, instead of dying in October, I'm going to go run a marathon. And I did that in Georgina. And so I said, okay, let's see if we can't get to the start line. And I cannot explain to you today how this happens. It's a medical miracle. It doesn't happen this way. I had 6 weeks to get ready for a marathon. Most people take 6 months. I did this in 6 weeks, and this is a stage 4 cancer guy that can't. If you asked me in June, could I run 5K? I could barely run 3. I had to crawl the last 2 to finish. So I said, okay. So when somebody says message of hope, this is such a powerful tool that we have inside that says, I think I can. You tip the scale almost immediately to saying, okay, I'm doing everything possible to make this event happen. So I'm doing a run. I said, okay, let's see if we can get to the start line. Woohoo! I made it. It was pouring rain. Who cares? I got my shoes on. Let's go. We finished the race. Said, awesome. I had some great people come out and help me. The third, one of the elite marathon runners, Rachel Hanna, came out and joined me for the last half. And I was cooked. I had maybe 5K left to go. And I thought, oh boy, just finish this thing. And she said, Dana, you just have to remember how many people are going to watch you running this and get a message of hope. Swing, baby. You got 5K to go. And so away we went. And I qualified for Boston, right? You just think, how is that possible? I could finish a race like this. It's hard when you're fit. Most people can't qualify. 1% of the population on the planet can do Boston. I'm so, and you know what? So now on April the 21st, is 2 weeks from now, I'm going to Boston. I'm going to the start line. I'm going to run that darn thing and I'm going to go again. And I'm going to wear green. So if I go, baby. So the one thing that drives me a little bit crazy is that when you meet some people that haven't maybe had the tour that Rebecca has offered that says, there are alternatives to when you say you have cholangiocarcinoma, have you had gene testing, whatever. I was pre that. So when we said, is there anything else we can do? We were told there might be something, but it's not covered. And I don't have a clue how this is going to work. It was on a scrap piece of paper. It said foundation.org, I think. And here, go. And now it's provided. And if you don't get that done, it's harder to find precision medicine that's going to help you get to the other side. So I just cringe when I hear an oncologist or somebody walk in the room and say, I'm so sorry. Because that means I don't have any ideas or clue on how I'm going to help you. That's a really sad place to be. And I have to tell you, when I went to Princess Margaret Hospital, nobody told me that. Everybody said, if there's another option, I'm not quitting. And when I told them I'm going to do Boston Marathon, instead of them kind of going, oh, are you crazy? They said, I love this. There's a guy that wants to get in there and swing. It's not over. I have cholangiocarcinoma, that's true, but I am also getting treatment. And I am going to keep fighting on this thing to see if we can get to the other side. And if I can do this, anybody else that has cholangiocarcinoma can also do things they maybe didn't think were possible. And so that's where this running with hope thing came up, where I said, well, look, you know what? We need to find ways to do the clinical trial. And I got signed up with one. I started January the 7th with Tipsovo. So that was awesome. They said no side effects. I'm telling you, there's no side effects. Like I am running again. The lights are on and I'm building. So weight's stable and I'm getting faster every week. Last week I ran about 60K and normally I run about 110 kilometers a week to get ready for a marathon. I'm doing 60 a week. But listen to what I'm saying. I have cholangiocarcinoma. I'm a stage 4 cancer guy on Tipsovo, a clinical trial, and I'm running 60K a week and probably doing 50 on my bike. So yeah, this is not like a dead end. We can do this. And then I'm going to say, somebody's going to say, well, what else are you doing to help get to the start line? So here are some of the things that I've done that says, okay, now that we're at the start line, you should share your story. You should tell other people what's possible. So I wrote a book. It's on Amazon. I've got a podcast. It's now on Apple and Spotify. I've started a blog. I have a documentary crew. I had a film crew with me 2 weeks ago in our house. You know, when they do the Netflix thing and they say, oh, this is so much fun. It's after a week, it's not so much fun. But they're going to come with me to Boston. They're going to record that. They're going to go to the Princess Margaret Ride to Conquer Cancer. And the story's not about me. It's about community and people that have cancer and how you can actually pull together to say, what can I do to help get to the other side? How can we work together? And it's like, that is a really important message. I cringe when I meet people in a chemo center and they've got a blanket over their head and they're crying underneath. I think it doesn't have to be that way. We can do better. So, we're going to pull this together. I've got permission-based community set up, and I am going to go after the federal and provincial governments, and it's not just for Canada. I talked to Melinda. It's like, cancer doesn't have a border. What can we do to help our friends in the States? We can do this. Anyway, that's the story. It's getting to the start line. I didn't tell you how it's going to finish, and I don't really care. I wanted to get to the start line though. So thank you so much. Do you have any questions?
Maybe just one question, and maybe this is a selfish question for two, but there are those steep left curves your cancer journey, the scan that shows
Yep.
growth, the new spot, the ctDNA, whatever it is. And do you have a ritual, or like I always say, like it's okay to get knocked down as long as you get back up. But what do you do in those moments, or what have you found the most helpful in those moments?
So I think so. In some ways, I've been very blessed to have had a very long experience with running marathons or things that are very, very difficult. And I'm also been an entrepreneur. So I've been kicked to the ground and told that's not going to work for decades. I live in that space. It's not possible. It's not going to work. And it's going to fail. So for people to show up and say, I'm really sorry, but your tumor's growing again, you're going to be pulled off of Javerum lab. I was like, well, that's not great news. So what else have you got? I'm so sorry. I thought, are you kidding me? We're going to do this again? I'm so sorry means I don't know what to do. The 20 minutes is up. My hand's on the doorknob and you're done. No, so that's kicking me to the curb again. I said, no, that's not going to happen here. So that means, so translation, you're out of ideas. That's okay. But you know what? Don't tell the client that I'm so sorry. You should say, I don't know what to suggest next. I'm going to get a referral for you to someone that knows what they're doing or knows a little bit more, right? So, like, help me help myself. Get up and find somebody that knows what they're doing and let's go take another run at it. I'm not done. So, boy, does that ever get me fired up when people say, that's it, you're finished. Or you can't do that. It's like, oh, you flipped the wrong switch here. I'm right. We're gonna take a swing at this. So yeah, so when somebody says my tumor's getting bigger, which they did, and then the answer was, I'm so sorry, we said, okay, it's mid-season, we're getting a new quarterback. We asked for a referral. We went to Princess Margaret and said, okay, what do you guys suggest? They went, boy, am I ever, oh, and was I ever thrilled when I got there. Instead of seeing two people, I thought, okay, I'm going to Princess Margaret and maybe there's one person I'm going to see or two that specialize, that can spell cholangiocarcinoma, right? I got there and it's floor 4 and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go to floor 4 and there's the office. It's the entire floor. It's the whole floor of people that are working on it. I went, wow, like I've hit it. This is Disneyland. I'm in a room of people that actually get it, know how to treat it, and they're not going to say, I'm sorry. They'll say, here's what else we can do. Have you considered this? And there's a whole bunch of other trials or things that they're doing. And it's like, okay, we have options there.
Yeah.
Options. Give me options. If I'm very coachable. So if you're my coach and you say, Dana, this is how this is going to work. We need to work through this and to get that done. And I'll just say, what do you need me to do to show up to be ready to go after that trial drug? Then I need you to look like this, be fit, whatever. It's like, okay, that's my job. I will work really hard to get there. So the next time you see me, you'll say, great, we're in. These two things will work. Let's push the button. And then we try again. And we keep trying. I don't quit. So. Love it.
Yeah.
I'm Ronald. This is not really a question, but it's a comment. Yesterday, I had a question and I asked Melinda, I said, who do you think motivates the motivator? I think we got our answer today.
Yeah, I think it's you got to find your inner Dana. Any other comments or questions? Anyone who wants to share? I think we're breaking for lunch now. Is that right? Oh yeah, great.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ambuj. I'm a volunteer with the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation and with OICR. I'm a former caregiver and a lot of time, and I'm a mentor as well to caregivers. And I have mentees that approach me and they are looking for hope. How do they help their loved one get through a difficult diagnosis and difficult treatment? And actually, what Dana said kind of rang through some ideas that I could all share, not just for ourselves, but also for our loved ones that are going through this, is finding something that really motivates them. In Dina's case, it was the marathon. So the mindset that you developed helped you get through this journey. And not everyone is going to run a marathon or have that mindset, but every one of us, every one of our loved ones would have something that they're passionate about. And for them to dig deep into what is it that really drives them and help use that mindset to go through this difficult journey. So that is a big takeaway for me and for my mentees. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dana, and thank you, everyone. Pass it over to Leonard.
Okay, what a great first